Welcome and welcome back to Really Legal. I'm attorney Ethan Bearman. Monday, May 20th, 2024, the Trump trial continued in New York City. Michael Cohen on the stand, and a surprise to most of us, defense witness this afternoon. The trial just wrapped up for the day, will continue tomorrow. I'll give you the good, the bad, what's next. The defense had some moves today that were a surprise, I think, to everybody. But let's start with Michael Cohen on the stand. The right-wing media is going to trumpet what an amazing job the defense for Donald Trump did in their cross-examination of Michael Cohen. They got him to admit under oath in trial today that he stole money from the Trump organization, the broke Trump organization. Wait, how he stole money from the Trump organization? Okay, wait, hang on. He stole money from the Trump organization. Is it a billion-dollar company? Is it a broke company? Who knows? It just depends on what serves their purpose, which doesn't play out well in court to jurors. They said, and correctly, that the Red Finch payment of $50,000, Michael Cohen admitted that he only handed over a portion of that, of $20,000, because he felt like he had been shorted in his bonus, so he kept $30,000 himself. The funniest part of all of this were Trump kids commenting about it on Twitter, unironically mentioning that Michael Cohen, how dare he steal money from a company when their charity, kids cancer charity, and they admitted to it in New York court, stole money from a kids cancer charity and redirected it to the Trump organization. Unironically, they'll make these statements. This is the sickest time that I remember in American history, in my lifetime of American history. I'm over 50 years old. And I've never seen anything like this since 2015. This is just, I'm going to get to the best part about this in a minute. So anyway, Michael Cohen, cross-examination continued. Yes, he lied. Yes, he stole. Yes, he talked to Robert Costello. That's going to become important here in just a minute. But what the right-wing media is going to do is focus on just those statements. And what they're going to forget to do is talk about Susan Hoffinger's redirect on the cross-examination. Now, to remind you, in this case, the prosecution brought on Michael Cohen as their witness. That's called the direct examination. Then the defense gets their turn at the cross-examination to impeach and challenge Michael Cohen on what he said during the direct examination. And then the prosecution, after the cross-examination, has a chance to do something called a redirect to shore up Michael Cohen's testimony, shore up his credibility in the eyes of the juror. And boy, oh boy, I think the prosecution, objectively speaking here, did a tremendous job of clarifying comments from Michael Cohen. For example, she asked him, I know it may feel like you're on trial here after cross-examination, but are you actually on trial? No, ma'am, Cohen said. Are you charged with any crimes in this case? No, ma'am, he answered. Look, it's got to shift away, right? Michael Cohen did a good job on direct. He got beat up pretty badly on cross. We knew he was a problematic witness because he's a known liar. The question for the jury is, was he lying about the key facts in this case to them, and are they able to differentiate when he's a liar and when he's not a liar? That also becomes important here in just another minute that I'm going to talk about. Again, the jury simply has to determine, did Donald Trump falsify business records with the intent, doesn't have to mean he did it, to violate another law? In this case, it's three laws: state or federal election law, or state tax law in the state of New York. Did he do that? Michael Cohen absolutely provided the testimony that says he did. Michael Cohen's testimony was corroborated by documents entered into the evidence thus far by the prosecution's other witnesses. Remember, in earlier videos, I describe him as a witness that lays the foundation. They were short witnesses that said, yes, the checks were sent to Donald Trump via his guy, his personal security guard, Mr. Schiller, in D.C., and they were Trump Organization checks that had to be signed by Donald Trump and sent back. That really spoke very directly to the falsification of business records. The key is was it the intent? Well, that again was David Pecker, Michael Cohen's testimony, even Stormy Daniels' testimony. He said, the witnesses said, meaning he, Michael Cohen, meaning he, David Pecker, this was intended to influence the election because this was all around the election. The defense has made a very strong effort at saying, well, but this is what Cohen always did, dating back to 2011. So back to the redirect. I think the prosecution did a great job of shoring up Michael Cohen in the redirect. And then all hell broke loose with the defense witness called in the courtroom today. It was a shameful display. Absolutely everything that's been wrong since day one of Donald Trump in politics here at the federal level in the United States, embodied in one witness today, in my opinion. Robert Costello, he's the defense attorney that Michael Cohen called in 2018, testified as a defense witness, and it was actually, to me, one of the more disgusting displays in a courtroom that a licensed attorney could do. A licensed attorney on the stand performing for one person, Donald J. Trump, in a courtroom. Judge Merchan, he was apparently giving side eye to Judge Merchan, saying, "Sheesh," under his breath when Judge Merchan ruled that an objection was sustained. Robert Costello was disruptive to the proceedings so much that Judge Merchan had to send the reporters and the jury out. The reporter's question is actually an interesting one that could turn into a separate lawsuit related to the First Amendment in the state of New York and a rule that they have that there has to be a hearing before you can kick the press out. Separate topic. But Judge Merchan was so pissed off at Robert Costello, he had to actually scold him. And let me quote as reported from the courtroom. Judge Merchan asked to take a minute, told the jury to step out, and said, "Mr. Costello, you're to remain seated. I want to discuss proper decorum in my courtroom. You don't give me a side eye, and you don't roll your eyes. When there's a witness on the stand, if you don't like my ruling, you don't say, geez, you don't say strike it. I'm the only one who has the power to strike from the record." I got to tell you something. While you're performing for Donald Trump, apparently, in the courtroom, the jurors are witnessing this. I just got to say this again, as I say so regularly in these videos with you. By the way, give me your comments below. Do you think he was just performing for Trump? The problem is this. Jurors witness it. Jurors are smart. Jurors are going to see through performative BS. They do almost every time. In my experience, they see through it. They see through the garbage. You've hurt yourself. This was a terrible witness for the defense to call. All it's done is caused a chaos in the courtroom of which the jurors witnessed. They saw Costello doing this to the judge. They saw the judge get upset. They saw the judge order them out. They heard the witness do this. Now, on the big picture of why this pisses me off, going all the way back to 2015, 2016, I'm going to confess right here, right now. I was naive when Donald Trump was running for president back in 2015, 2016. I believed that our system's guardrails were set up sufficiently to prevent what he has done. I was wrong. I was absolutely wrong. We have tons of new laws that need to be implemented to protect our democracy from people like Donald Trump and those sycophants who do his bidding. And in that, and I'm not going to talk about Justice Alito or Justice Thomas right now from the United States Supreme Court. That I will save for a separate video. I have always said I'm not going to talk about the individual Supreme Court justices. After what happened last week, I don't know how I'm not going to do a video on what happened with the upside down flag that was flying in front of Justice Alito's house right after January 6th of 2021. I am so upset. But he has shown, so my belief was that the guardrails would be the United States Senate, because in the past, they have been the guardrails. But now we have such a level of just gross malfeasance on the part of the MAGA crowd within the Republican Party that hold up Donald Trump's violations of the norms and the rules that we have in place, that those guardrails are insufficient. What Robert Costello did today in that New York courtroom, I believe, should be something that goes to the state bar for review and potential suspension or removal of his bar license. I cannot get over it. You, as a licensed attorney, know how to behave in a courtroom. We have an oath. Attorneys, when we become licensed, we take an oath to uphold the Constitution, the state Constitution, the federal Constitution, to be good standing members, to not bring dishonor to our profession. What Robert Costello did today is beyond reproach. I'm sorry. I am absolutely disgusted. I've been asked to chime in on Judge Eileen Cannon in the 11th Circuit. I've avoided doing that thus far. This all is so bad for a democracy, for a functioning judiciary. We're not a banana republic. The actions of these individuals start to move us in that direction, whether we're talking about at the highest court in the land, a specific federal district or two in the United States, or what happened in this courtroom today. And the way that certain members of the media, those who have attended law school in particular, who, whether they're licensed standing members of the bar or not, continue to misrepresent what is happening in court, what is happening in these courtrooms, is so damaging and dangerous to our democracy. I feel like I'm overstating it, but at the same time, I'm not. This is beyond today what happened in the courtroom with Robert Costello. We cannot have members of the bar behaving like this. He should be made an example of by the State Bar of New York. He knew what he was doing was wrong. He knows the rules of the court. We cannot let these things slide, and we can't take 2 years to adjudicate it. This needs to be a priority when members of the bar, I'm talking about the Sidney Powells, the Rudy Giulianis, and others, the Jenna Ellises, when they know what they're doing is wrong, when they know that there are no facts to support what they're arguing, that should be an emergency hearing by the State Bar. When John Eastman did what he did, I'm glad the California State Bar is taking action. It needs to take action faster. So these attorneys know you cannot knowingly violate the rules of the bar. I'm sorry. As an attorney, this is pissing me off as bad as anything right now. So I'm sorry to go off on a rant today and not just explain the law and what happened in the courtroom. Robert Costello will be back on the stand. And the only outstanding question at this point is, will Donald Trump have the balls to get on the stand and tell us what he really thinks he knows? The only people at this point who will argue against him getting on the stand are, of course, his defense attorney, possibly the jurors, and possibly the judge in this case. But the judge, of course, has to say, look, it is the defendant's right to take the stand. I hope that his ego pushes him to a place that he actually gets on the stand in his own defense. Alina Habba, stick it in your ear. If you continue to go out there and say, oh, he's going to take the stand, he just tells the truth. You've done that more than once now, attorney Alina Habba. Didn't come true the other times. So are you intentionally misleading the public about your client? Are you? Sorry, done with actually licensed practicing attorneys knowingly violating the rules. I hope that this comes to result in changes that improve our system. I really do. Please, dear Lord, register people to vote. Help them make a plan for voting, encourage people to vote, and vote blue this fall. It is. This is, I cannot overstate this. This is the most important election. I mean, look, 2016, I was like, obviously I supported Hillary Clinton, but, how bad? I'll give Donald Trump a chance. 1,000 times worse than I have ever expected him to be. 1,000 times worse. Anyway, what's good? The good, the bad, and what's next? The good, I think the prosecution did a good job on redirect with Michael Cohen. I really do. I think the jurors are smart enough to see through this. The bad, well, let me give you one more good. The defense tried to say, I do oral motions as judgment as a matter of law, or written motions, judgment as a matter of law, saying the other side has failed as a matter of law on this. They want a mistrial because Michael Cohen is a liar as a matter of law. No, that's up to the jury. Judge Merchan's going to shoot that down in a heartbeat. Okay, the bad. It's just so damaging. Damaging to the public, damaging to our democracy, damaging to our judiciary. The absolute spectacle that went on in that courtroom today, it's horrible. It's bad. I'm ashamed of what they did in that courtroom, and they should be ashamed. What's next tomorrow? Robert Costello gets back on the stand. I hope Judge Merchan got through to him to stop playing this stupid game for Donald Trump in a real trial. It's one thing to do it for your client, wherever it is, blah, 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 when you're not under oath. You're under oath, pal. Follow the rules. Give me your comments below. I go overboard with my rant today. I'm so pissed off about this. I'm so sorry. But it's bad. I love your comments, though. So know that. They give me... Sometimes they make me laugh. Sometimes they make me think. But I always appreciate them. So give me your comments below. Click that like button. Smash the subscribe button. I'm attorney Ethan Bearman. This is Really Legal on the Really American Network.